Hey, look at this. I got a Modulus Recon Mk II, and I actually have two of them. Why is that? We're going to find out now. What's up, YouTube? Graveyard here, and as you can see in the description below, this is my review of the Recon Mk II in the Nerf Modulus series systems. Now you've probably looked at the description, and some may not realize what's the difference. What is this Gen 1, Gen 2 I speak of? Well, it's not Pokemon, that's for sure. But the Gen 1 series of the Modulus Blaster is this, and the Gen 2 series is this. Now, in a quick glance, you're saying you're a moron, they're the same thing, but there is a difference and all. I'm going to be going over that along with my overall review of the Modulus Blaster, and also I will be doing internals of both of them to see if there is any big internal differences between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2. So, and then of course, as always, my final thoughts. But going over the blaster itself first off. Now, this is the Recon Mk II. It's not the Retaliator Mk II. They did go back to naming it the Recon Mk II. And the Recon was the original blaster, which then got like 6 different shell recolorings. Then it got upgraded to the Retaliator, which got another like 3 different shell colors. And then they went back to the Recon name and added some extra stuff to it. Now, I do have my modified Retaliator here. And you can see there is big differences, obviously, between the shell already. Ignore this. That's from my Stage 3 Orange Modworks kit. But big difference you'll see right off the bat is this has a handguard for your grip, which obviously this does not. Now, normally they always shorten these, so people with bigger hands usually tend to have issues holding blasters like this. I have no problem with it, so the ending of that is actually fine, and to me it's actually a very nice aesthetic feel or look to it. You will also notice the difference between the priming slides, which is this on the Retaliator, this on the Modulus. Immediately you will notice that the rail on the Modulus is much higher, and I already hated the fact that the priming slide has a tack rail on it to begin with, and the fact that they raised it now just makes me even more upset over that fact. One thing I will notice, though, is on the original Retaliator here, you can see the slide goes like right to the edge of the blaster. Why is this sticking on me? You can see it goes right to the edge here where the barrel attachment would go. And also doing that, you always had to worry about the 2 hidden screws that were underneath the slide when opening up this or the Recon. They did sort of kind of fix that, so thank you, Hasbro, for that, where the slide doesn't go all the way forward anymore, and it cuts out. It has a little bit of a cutout, which is actually, aesthetically, it's fine. But the one good thing is it actually frees up these holes so that you don't have to like partially prime or slide it back in order to get to those, which is actually really, really cool. The other addition is you'll notice here there is a tack rail where on here obviously it just says Nerf. So there is a big difference. Obviously they added the tack rail because this is the Modulus Blaster. It's supposed to be all tactical, super elite, type of thing and all. The funny thing though with that this is a Modulus Blaster and it's supposed to be so super tactical is they've actually removed tactical accessories from the previous generations. The original Retaliator and Recon had a front barrel attachment much like this. However, that was a much longer barrel attachment, and we know the barrel attachment's normally a little heart range, so the shorter one, it's aesthetically nice and it won't kill your range. However, it had 2 long tack rails on top and the bottom. This has a tiny, tiny, tiny little nubby one right there. And I have a Modulus grip right here. So this is what it's supposed to work with. and it doesn't even work. So, I mean, I could do it like this, but it ain't got nothing to hold on to. So they've added they added one tack rail to here and made it completely and totally worthless because you can't fit anything there. Good job. So already they've kept the barrel attachment and they removed the tack rail there, but I guess they made up for it by putting it here. Logic? The stock. Now, the Retaliator and Recon are known for having not the greatest stocks in the world. This fixes it and does it because it's a similar shape to the Recon one, where it was just two long pieces of plastic where you can actually put a clip on it, but it was flimsy as, a wet noodle. It was like so terrible. The the Retaliator was a much more beefier stock, however it was short. So they went back to the original sort of kind of Recon design, made it nice and beefy, but kept it short. So if you're using this and you're actually shouldering it, you're choking up on it. I still say the best Nerf actual accessory blaster or official Nerf accessory for a stock is still the Retaliator. Hands down, still the best. Still running on my Alpha Trooper. Phenomenal. So there's that. And this is... Oh, and it also comes with a 6-round clip. So, Hasbro, why do you keep making these things? No one wants them. 12 rounds. 12 rounds. But that's everything that the Modulus comes with. So now they've taken away an accessory. They've made a tactical, useless accessory. They made a slightly better stock than the Recon, so yay. Okay. But now going on to the rest of the blaster. Like I said, the tack rail on top here. I still don't understand why you put a tactical rail on the priming handle. If you're priming it, you cannot use anything here properly. Because even if you put a scope on here, you're priming off the scope, or you're not getting, or you have to hold the side of it, and you're not getting a really good grip. And if you're holding onto the scope, then you're just going to pull the damn thing off. Sorry, got off on a rant there. But overall, aesthetically, I like the new look. Like, even if you're just going off of the base blaster, Recons, the whole point of them, they were Modulus before Modulus was Modulus. And the good thing is you have in my opinion, a much better profiled Recon to work with, be it for a NIC blaster or even like a cosplay piece. You're getting a much better product, honestly, out of that. But now, going on to one of the big hurdles that the Gen 1s had, which is this. And what is this? This is where your clips go. And why is that a big deal? Well, it holds a 6-round clip fine. This is a 12-round clip. Fine. I'm going for the big guns. This is a 35-round drum from a... Alright? We're still good. Hey, here's that 18-round magazine I got from my Rapid Strike. Wait, what? This was the problem with the Gen 1s. You have a little lip. You can barely see it, but it's like right there that prevents you from using 18-round stick magazines. So a lot of people were extremely bothered by that, and it was just like, we have to modify these things to actually use end strike clips. And it's like, no, that's a fail out of the box. So Nerf then decided to go and do the sensible thing and release the Gen 2, which does address that, but also addresses another thing that some people started picking up on. And you'll notice at the edge of this, you see this little itty bitty nubby here? Yeah. While it works fine with some of the Modulus accessories, like the one it comes with, and like this, which is a silencer that came with the same thing that I got the grip with. Now, it fits fine or whatever, but if you try and put on a barrel attachment like the thing from the Tri-Strike or a barrel attachment from the Retaliator, this nub actually prevents it from clicking in place because it actually goes wider than the diameter that this actually provides. So that was another fix that they had to do. So that's where the Gen 2 comes in. I'm not going through all the other clips because it still works fine, but at least on this one, you can use an 18-round magazine. The other thing that I noticed was, besides that, they shaved off the little nubby part here. So now you can use any sized front barrel attachment without it getting caught up on it. Now, it still doesn't have the locking bolt, but most of the Modulus accessories don't have those. But I also noticed one thing that they realized, oh wait, we made something that was completely useless, let's just get rid of it. Yeah, they got rid of the tack rail attachment at the bottom of the barrel attachment for the Recon Mk II. So they got rid of that, which, I mean, honestly, when I first thought about it, I'm like thinking, wow, that was so stupid. But then I realized, wait a minute, it was useless. There was no point to it. So by them getting rid of it, it really made actual sense in that matter. So the Gen 2 was definitely it was a subtle update, but there are enough things to where if you're not looking for them, you may pick up a Gen 1 not realizing it. So the key things to look for between the Gen 1s and the Gen 2s are, Gen 1 has a little nubby thing up front because obviously you're not going to be able to see the mag wells all that clearly because chances are the 6-round clip is going to be in there. So you can't go off of looking at the mag well. But if you look for the nub and the tack rail on the barrel extension, if it has a nub and a tack rail, it's a Gen 1. If it's flat and no tack rail, it's a Gen 2. And definitely pick that up over the Gen 1. But let's go look at the insides first and see if there is any more of a difference outside of some of the aesthetics and, minor changes between the Gen 1s and the Gen 2s. Okay, so first one we're going to open up is the Gen 1. You can tell this is the Gen 1 because it's got the little intact nubby thing up front. And just going over opening it, unscrewing everything, all the screws are in the same places as the Retaliator and the Recon, with the exception of this extra screw here, because you have the extra piece here. But on the plus side, you don't have to worry about sliding this back anymore because the two, what used to be hidden screws, are now fully open. So let's see the inside of the Gen 1. And, come on. Oh, why is this getting stuck? Did I not get something? Hang on. No, I got everything. I don't know why this isn't opening up a little easier. What the hell? Well, on the plus side, they changed this up. Why is this not opening? This is turning into an interesting side development here. Did I not get the... No, that's separating. Alright, so as you can see here, for some reason, this is giving issues opening up. and I have no blessed idea why. So I am actually going to hold off here before I snap something in half. I will come back once I get this open and explain what the hell is going on. Okay, well that just happened. Alright, so fun little thing here. Okay, so trying to pry this thing open, I have found one. Oh, that's your. Okay, so we get to look at all the fun stuff that is in this thing. Alright, well, first thing I found is, well, here's your dart tooth. This little hex spot, little son of a bitch, the blaster shell would not separate there. Now, it wasn't solvent welded or anything like that. It was just being a stubborn little ass and wouldn't release. And I have no blessed idea as to why, but you know what? We'll find out in the Gen 2 if they fix that, because God help them if they didn't, because that's really freaking annoying. On the overall, it looks like, well, alright, I'll leave the trigger out for now. It looks like a lot of the locks that were in the original one are still here, like this priming lock, which I am getting rid of. Alright, well, I will get rid of that one later, but this, I know, is a priming lock, so that's out of here. You have the catch, which is basic, standard Recon Retaliator. This is Recon Retaliator. Alright, now, for some reason, it stayed on this side. Here is the plunger assembly, along with the spring and all that stuff, and again, basic Retaliator setup, except here's an interesting little side note. If you look here, you'll notice that it's missing something a little metallic. The pin that holds the breech to the bolt sled is now plastic. So, yeah, upgrading this is going to be interesting, because now it's going to be a question of, will a upgraded spring be able to support that? Another little thing of note that I noticed on this side of the shell, I don't know what the hell this is. It looks like it's a lock of some kind, but yeah, like, I truly have no idea what the hell this is for, so it looks like it interacts with the bolt on this side. So it looks like it may actually be some kind of, it's a slide lock. Alright, so that's going to have to go. Alright, so these are the exploded internals of the Recon Mark I. Yeah. Pretty similar to the way the old Retaliator was set up. Couple extra locks, pain in the ass to open. Let's see if Gen 2 can fare any better on this. So that will be coming up right after now. Okay, so here's the Gen 2 Recon Mark II. You can tell it's the Gen 2, all did, because it's missing the nubbies here. I've actually pre-opened this one. I haven't done anything to it yet. I just opened up the shell. I've removed all the screws so nothing explodes on me. And also, because this pain in the ass piece of junk was sticking on this one again as well. So honestly, this is going to be the actual mod guide to the Recon Mark II, because from what I can see internally, This is exactly the same thing. Don't lose that one because I think I lost my other screw and I used a different one and it's all gone to hell. Okay, so first things first, you may have a little bit of an explosion when you open this up. Just make sure you find everything and bring it back here. First thing is first. This little post right here serves absolutely zero purpose. It was never in the Recon. It was never in the Retaliator. I don't know why the hell it's in here. So you know what? It's gone. Good riddance. Second thing is this. I have no idea what this is a lock for. It's some kind of a slide lock or secondary slide lock or whatever. So we're removing this as well. And I've already tested all of these mods in the Gen 1 edition, so therefore it's just carryovers. These will not, these aren't going to brick your blasters. Pair of needle nose pliers. Pop that off. Pull that thing out. Now, for this part, you can go one of two ways. You can try and break out the gray piece, or you can try and pop off the orange. Either way, it's not going to harm things. So what I do is I slowly start breaking off the gray. I tried pushing it through last time, but I think I just took my flathead and wound up actually popping this whole thing off. So move this aside, just so you can see the awesome modding that is me. And there we go. It may be glued on one side, but hopefully not all of them. Take that out. And now we're good to go. So there's that. Now this side of the shell is basically de-locked. Now onto the main part of the blaster. I'm going to remove the trigger because you need to do that. And again, don't lose the trigger spring because unfortunately I misplaced my trigger spring for the Gen 1. So I have no idea what spring I put in there. And yeah, so we're going to remove the spring here, take out your catch, and again, don't lose the spring. You're going to tease out your bolt sled. Now, you don't have to do anything here. Ah, that's what I did. Okay, so, funny thing. On the Gen 1, when it exploded and went all to hell, this spring popped out along with the trigger spring. I wound up switching those in the Gen 1. It still seems to be working fine, so it's not a major problem, but just so you know, be aware of things. Also, I noticed they left out a screw on mine, so good job, Hasbro. And like the other one, this has the plastic pin instead of the metal pin. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to remove this, which is a slide lock, and this, which is a magazine lock. So this one is really easy to come out. All you have to do is just tease it. It's out. It's junk. Springs aren't even really that good because they're super weak springs. Now to get this lock out, take a pair of needle nose pliers. Just go into the well here a little bit. Pull this piece out. Now don't lose these pieces because this is how your mag release works. You're going to need to unscrew this piece here and basically just slide it all out. Drop that. Put it right back in. Make sure you are getting it in the hole, because if not, it's just going to spin and spin and spin like that. on-the-fly modding at its finest. So just make sure you get it back in the screw port that is holding the release trigger on the other side, and then just slide that back in. And if need be, just once you can push it in, just take your needle nose pliers again, push it down, and make sure it's good. Now that lock is out. So we basically got this thing almost completely de-locked. There is one more lock. Now this is a contention amongst modders, at least back in the day it was, on whether or not to remove this, which is your slide lock. This slide lock is actually very easy. They made it, for once they actually made it easy to remove these things. It's basically just two little push clips in there. Push one side out, it'll knock the whole thing out. Now, you can leave that in, it's not going to hurt. However, I usually remove it just because it keeps me from wind up jamming things up. And then once that's done, basically just put it back in there and you reassemble the blaster. So this thing is now completely de-locked, and I think I actually do have a 5 kilogram spring. I think this is a 5 kg retaliator spring, but if you notice, it is a little bigger. I'm going to go through my spring bin, see if I can find something else. But basically, that's all that there is really to this. Is I'm going to try and throw in a spring upgrade on this one, and we'll just take it from there. Basically, reassemble it, close it up, you're good to go. On the Elite Blasters, there really is no more sense in knocking out an air restrictor. It used to be a big thing back in the day, just because when your blaster was shooting 30, 35 feet, getting an extra 10 feet out of it was pretty significant. However, with these things hitting anywhere between 75 and 90 as range claimed, you really don't need to do AR removals anymore. My personal EAT actually still has its air restrictor in there, although I have put an upgrade spring in there. That's really all I did to that one, other than the lock removals, whereas my older Alpha Troopers were completely overhauled. But that's neither here nor there. But that's the internals for the Gen 2. Same thing as the original, and yes, this does have a plastic pin in it too. So actually, I may hold off on doing that spring upgrade. So for now, I'll actually just reassemble this as is, so you can actually see how that's actually done. Catch goes back there. Trigger spring back in the trigger well. And that's basically it. Now, the reason I'm not pushing this in all the way is because I've learned over the years, and Psych is correct on this, it's best to actually leave it hanging out a little bit. So this way it's not all under tension as you're trying to reinstall everything. And once you kind of get at least the front end in, put like 1 or 2 screws here, just push this in a little bit, tease it up, push it in, and then just put the back cap on and you're good to go. So that's everything here. I'm going to close this thing up. I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the Recon Mk II Gen 1 versus Gen 2. Which one's better, why, and all that fun stuff. So that's up next. Okay, so my final thoughts on this. So the Recon Mk II is basically the Retaliator reshelled, which some of us were probably not going to be surprised with it on that one. However, what I am surprised with is the fact that they actually replaced what used to be metal pins with plastic, which is going to actually make modding this a little bit more difficult, because if you're going to put in a stronger spring load, which I opted not to do in the Gen 2 version, but if you're going to put in a stronger spring load, you're going to have to replace that pin just for, I would say, if anything, just sense of sanity, because I could see that going in plenty of blasters that are overpowered. Over and all, would I recommend this over the Retaliator? No, I would not. If you're going to choose between this and the Retaliator, I would honestly pick the Retaliator over this because, I mean, basically the same thing. This just has a nicer main body shell and attack rail on the side. Other than that, you get more accessories, and better accessories with the Retaliator, and you're basically getting the same core blaster with it. The only thing I would recommend this for is, honestly, looking at the profile of the blaster right here, and I need the Gen 2 for it, but loading in a stick mag, if this was solid color, obviously, but just looking at the center of the blaster, the immediate thing that springs to my mind is a Destiny auto rifle, which that would make modding this for like a cosplay piece really, really good. But again, it's a matter of you're modifying this just basically for the sense of a cosplay piece, or if you really want, like I did, something functional. So, but you know, to each his own. But that's it for the review, and thank you very much for sticking around on that one. And I want to say thank you to my friend Arlene, who redid my opening and closing graphics. If you didn't notice from the beginning, I kind of changed things up a little bit, trying to keep things fresh, do something new. If you like it, cool. Leave me a comment down below. And, or if not, leave me a comment down below. Tell me, hey, this sucks. Go back to the old stuff. But thank you very much for sticking around and, you know, checking this out. As always, if you like this video, throw me a like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Recon Mk IIs. Are you going to be getting one? Is it something you're not really interested in? Do you at least like the shell? I mean, I got to give it. I do like the shell. The redesign of the core blaster was cool, with the exception of the rings, tack rail right in the center. But I digress. So, thank you again, and I will see you guys next time. Later.